What's up, guys? Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A here about eBay dropshipping. I'm here to answer all your questions about eBay dropshipping and Amazon dropshipping. If you have any questions, you're here live, ask them in the live chat. I'll answer them right now. If you're watching this later, leave any questions you have in the comments of any of my videos, and I'll answer them in the next live Q&A. I do them every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you get an alert every time I go live. Now, we have a lot to go over today. I have some updates about the Home Depot cashback problem that we had a couple months ago, and an update on eBay's new return policies. But let's first answer a question I had from Eric. Eric's been using gift cards to purchase items from HomeDepot.com. These are items he's fulfilling for his customers that are buying stuff from him on eBay. And he wants to know, what does he put for the billing address? He could put his own, or he could put a customer's, or anything else, really. Really, the answer is it doesn't really matter. I don't tell my VAs to put my address in there. I have them just pick one of the customer's addresses and use that as the billing address. And what you can then do, what you need to do then, is when you get the email that says what the order confirmation is, at the top it's going to say hello and then a name. It won't be your name. It will be the name of one of your customers. So let's say one of your customers' names is Frank. It'll say hello, Frank. Frank is the billing address. So then find Frank's address in that email, the order confirmation email, and that's the billing address. So if you ever need the billing address later, that's it. It will be Frank's or whoever's at the top. So that's just a little tip, but really it doesn't matter for the order if you're using gift cards. It's never been a problem for me. Nikki also had a question. Nikki said that she tried to list a bunch of items using DSM tool. Specifically, one of the items was a DeWalt brand. And she said that when she tried to list it, she got an error saying that this item cannot be listed. And that's because you have what's called a Vero protection on your DSM account. Vero is a program set up by eBay. These are brands that do not let you use their images or their copy, all the words in the description. That is written by the company, and the pictures are taken by the company. It's their copyright material. You're not allowed to use it without their permission. So you can actually get these listings removed if you list them. So DSM tool prevents you from listing them because they don't want you to get in trouble. Now, you can turn off Vero protection for DSM tool. It's in the settings. Whether you want to take that risk is up to you. I have heard of accounts on eBay getting banned if they list too many of these Vero protected items. So that risk is up to you, but you can do that in the settings. So let's see who's here today. We have Eric. Welcome, Eric. Kathy is back. Welcome, Kathy. And Al first again. So welcome, Al. Carmen says, bad storm in this area. Your live stream is lagging. I hope it's not on my end. We're also having a bad storm here in New York City. Just had a first real summer thunderstorm here. Andy's saying, have you ever used triple points on deals? I'm not sure what you mean by that, triple points. Andy, maybe you could let us know. Maybe we're talking about like rotating categories. I know for some credit cards, like Chase has a credit card that has rotating cashback bonus categories. So for quarter 1, you might get like triple cash back if you shop at certain store, like maybe it's Amazon. On another quarter, you get triple cash back at gas stations, things like that. I tend to stay away from those credit cards because I want one that consistently always gives me the same amount going forward. And those categories almost always have a cap on them. So you might be able to get triple cash back on Amazon, but only up to a spend of, let's say, $1,500. And that's really, quite frankly, not enough for us dropshippers. Thomas is here. Okay. Jim Smith is here. Assad's here from Australia. And Amy is here. Morris is here. Sunny and 92 in Eastern Washington. Sounds beautiful. Okay. Okay, so I had another question here from Brianne. Brianne shipped an item to a customer overseas in, I think it was the UK. And Brianne said that the customer then emailed them and said, or messaged them on eBay and said, I plugged the item in and it started to smoke right away. What do I do? So really the best way, what happened here was that they plugged in an item that's not rated for use outside the United States. It's a different voltage. So what you should have done beforehand is put something in your listing that says that these items, we cannot guarantee that they will work outside the United States. If you use them in another country, it's at your own risk, even with a transformer or like a power converter. So that way you're kind of protected by that. Then if the customer complains, hey, it plugs it in and it starts smoking, you basically tell them, well, this was at your own risk. You can return it if you want, but you have to pay to ship it back. And usually what ends up happening is that eBay will close the case in your favor. Sometimes they refund the customer at no cost to you, and you don't get a defect on your account for that. So that's really the way you should be handling it. Okay. Connie says, I thought it was recommended that you do not drop ship outside the US. No, I used a global shipping program to drop ship from the United States outside the United States. And the way that works, if you're not familiar with that, Connie, is that I ship the items to eBay's global shipping facility in Erlanger, Kentucky, and then eBay forwards it to the customers. That's once the customer actually buys it from me on eBay. Andy kind of explained what he meant by the triple points. He says in the UK, if you use Walmart, you can get points, then you can use those points to get vouchers, and then you get those vouchers to use offers all year long. I don't know anything about these vouchers, so I'm not familiar with that. Adam says, can I use most cashback websites with the incognito method? So what Adam is talking about is that when you use a cashback website like Giving Assistant, that's the cashback website that I use most of the time. I've been using Simply Best Coupon for a little while now, in the past couple months, but I'll probably go back to Giving Assistant soon. And there's a link to that, there's an affiliate link to that in the description of my video. And what that does is that it gives you cash back on all your purchases. Now, when you use them, you have to make sure that you use it correctly so that it registers that you're using it so that you actually get your cash back, right? And sometimes it doesn't work. And what they recommend is that if you go open an incognito tab, if you're using Chrome, that kind of increases the chances that it will actually work, they say. I think it has something to do with the cookies and cookies overriding each other, different things like that. So I use that every time I use a cashback website, and it's always worked really well for me. I use it for Giving Assistant, I use it for Simply Best Coupon, and it really works well. Alice said, is listing in the wrong category a major issue? That's a great question, Alice. So Alice is basically saying when you list an item, you can put it into one of many different categories. What happens if you put it in the wrong one? Well, in the past, it really didn't matter so much because not many customers shop by category. They just search for the item, and that's how you find it. So really the title was the most important thing. Now moving forward though, eBay is working on this new catalog system where they're trying to put all the items in there on eBay into a catalog system. And I think because of that, it is more important to get more specific with your listings, make sure they're in the right categories, make sure they have the right descriptions, and the item specifics I think are gonna be more important moving forward. She's saying that DSM tool doesn't always accurately add them to the right category, so you'll have to make sure that you do choose the right category when you list the item. Al's saying, have your sales bounced back since there's been a dip in sales about almost a month ago now? So yeah, my sales are going back up, Al, and I will be releasing a video later this week. I basically found 2 really important things that I've been doing that have been helping my sales, and 3 things that I'm going to do moving forward that I think are really going to help the sales too. So it's really like a 5-step method to increase your sales, get them back up to recover where they were before your sales started slowing down. And I think this can help anyone who's had slow sales, whether you're watching this now or in the future. If your sales slow down, I think these 5 steps will help you in the future as well. That should be coming out later this week. Okay. When's the best way to Sorry, I'm not sure of your question. Somebody's asking about a VA question, and I'm not really sure what you're asking there. Okay, so I had a question from Henry. Henry was one of my students, is one of my students, and Henry said that he had a return case opened up by a buyer, and the return was for buyer's remorse, meaning the buyer got the item and then decided that they don't want it. So what happens when that happens is that eBay automatically approves the return. So you don't have the chance to authorize it or not. Now, I did make a video in the past called the only way to fix eBay's automatic return policy. So if you're watching this and you're curious about that, when the video is over, go check out that video. And it's going to explain to you how to kind of prevent this from happening, how to prevent eBay from automatically approving these returns. So Henry did that. So now he was able to send the return label to the customer, and that return label is going to make sure that the package doesn't go back to Henry's house, but goes back to his supplier's house, like Walmart or Home Depot. But now when he goes inside the eBay return case, it still says that he has to enter an address to for the customer. So what I would do is enter, instead of an address, or rather where it says the RMA number, make sure to type in, I sent you a prepaid return label, make sure that you use that label, and then approve your address. That way they get that message. You already should have been communicating with them that they should be used in the prepaid return label before you approve it in the return case, and that should be good. That shouldn't cause any issues, and they should send the item now back to the source and not directly to you. So Malit TM says, hey, Paul, how do you add tracking number if Walmart ships out a two-item order with 2 tracking numbers? So I think what you're talking about is, let's say a customer buys 2 items from you, separate orders. No, rather the same order, one order with 2 items on eBay, and you bought both of them from Walmart at the same time, and now they are both shipping out with 2 different tracking numbers. Well, you really only have to upload 1, but you can upload more than 1 on eBay. You definitely can do that, but you really only have to upload 1 at a time, because that one's going to show it's delivered anyway. If you want, you could always message the customer and say, here are both the tracking numbers. I only uploaded 1 of them, though. Okay, Adam says, how long should I leave listings active if they don't have many views? My recommendation is that if an item doesn't sell within 2 months or hasn't sold in 2 months, you should delete it from your store. So BRQNX says, I heard folks saying that if you call eBay and ask them to refresh your account, that works. In other words, you can call eBay and say, ask them to restart your account, and they'll restart it or refresh it or reset it, and then that will bring things back to the way they were before April 20th, before a lot of us saw a slowdown in sales. I've heard this from a couple of people, but almost everyone I speak to says they have found, or the people that have found a representative who is willing to do it, they've all said it didn't make any difference. Now, I've called, I've asked, and they don't have any clue what I'm talking about. I'm sure if I keep calling and asking, somebody will be able to understand what I mean. But everyone I talked to has said it hasn't made a difference to them. So Dorit says, if I order something from Home Depot, must I use a gift card, or can I change my credit card for my client? Is there any problem with that? Dorit, you can absolutely use a gift card, you can use a credit card, you can use PayPal to check out. Any one of those methods will work, and that should be fine. Andre says, when you fill out orders, do you put the buyer's phone number or yours? It hasn't really, so I played around with both, and what I've been doing in the past and what I'm doing now is putting my phone number. So for a little while, I was putting the buyer's phone number because, you know, there's benefits and drawbacks to both. So the benefit of putting your own number is that if Home Depot or Walmart calls, they're going to get you. So if they say, hey, this is so-and-so from Walmart, and I want to follow up on an order that you had. If the customer gets that call, they're going to be really confused by it, right? So you want to make sure that those calls go to you. On the other hand, if there's a problem with delivery, you want to make sure that the person being reached is the customer. So that just adds another step for you. The delivery company is going to call you, and then you have to then contact the buyer to have them reach out to the carrier or something like that. I still think it's best to put your own phone number, just so that there's not that strange situation where the customer doesn't know why Walmart or Amazon or whoever is calling them. Okay. So Jeffrey says, is this a bad time to get started drop shipping, or should I just go for it? So Jeffrey, I've had a lot of new students actually say that their newer, fresher accounts are doing much better than their older accounts. So I think that this is still a great time to get started in drop shipping. My sales did dip down on April 20th, but they are going back up. I was still getting between $200 to $300 a day. Now I'm clearing at least $300 a day in profit. So it is still working for me. It's still working for a lot of my students. And if anything, like I said, sales are better in the newer, fresher accounts. Okay, so I had another question. Where was that one? Okay, so I wanted to give you guys an update on what's happening with Home Depot Cashback. So as many of you guys remember, I can't remember if this was March or April now. I think it was in March. We all woke up one morning, and anyone who was using cashback websites for Home Depot suddenly saw emails telling them that all their cashback was being revoked. And usually that happens if you return an item. You'll get an email saying that you lost some of your cashback. That makes sense because an item was returned, but it was all of it. And it just kept coming in all day. It was a really terrible day. We've been hearing a lot of rumors. I've been in communication with Giving Assistant, the website, again, that I use for cashback. They were kind of helpful, but then they said Home Depot wasn't really communicating with them. There were some rumors that there was an error. Well, I finally got an email from Home Depot directly this morning saying that, yes, there was an error and it revoked all the cashback and the cashback should be returned. Now, the email actually this was kind of a funny story. So a couple of months back or a few months back, I was playing around with different ideas on how to maximize my profit at Home Depot. I was using cashback websites, but I thought to myself, what if I become an affiliate for Home Depot so that I can get cashback directly by going through my affiliate link? So I signed up for their affiliate program and actually was approved. But then when I actually looked at everything, it really wasn't worth it. The amount of cashback I would receive was actually less than the amount of cashback I would receive by going through Giving Assistant. And it would be a violation of their terms to use my own affiliate link. So I don't think it was worth it. There's some other issue with it that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I never even tried it because of all those issues. So it's not worth it. But I was signed up for the program, which is why I got this email. It was actually an email for the affiliate program saying there was an error and that all your affiliate commissions was revoked, but it's being returned. So I'm thinking that that's the same program that Giving Assistant is in. And so they are affiliates for Home Depot, and they just share some of their affiliate commission with us. So I'm thinking if I was supposed to get my affiliate commission back, that so will Giving Assistant, and then in turn we'll get our cash back for that. Okay. Let's see what other questions we got here. Jeremiah says, are cancellations ever an issue? Jeremiah, do you mean cancellations on eBay or cancellations on suppliers' websites? Okay. Andrew says, what do you do to prove your VAs are using the research method you tell them to, or if they are just listing random products to waste time? Great question, Andrew. So first of all, the VA that I hired for my listing is one of my top 2 VAs. I have 2, I guess you consider top VAs. These are the ones that I spent the most time finding to hire, and I spent the most time training, and the ones that I just trust the most. The first one does customer service, the other one does listing. And I've worked with her a lot to make sure that she understands the process that I want. And when she first started listing, I checked every listing that she did. I made sure that it was done with the method that I told her to do. And I just trust her. She's really smart. She's actually given me ideas that I never even thought of. So just based on that, I know it's a trusting relationship that I have with her. Can you use cashback at Home Depot, Walmart with PayPal? Yes, you can. You will get cashback if you shop on Home Depot or Walmart.com and check out with PayPal. What are your recommendations for cashback? Matt wants to know. So Matt, there's several layers to this. So the first layer is I use a cashback credit card. I have 2 cashback credit cards. The one is a Capital One Spark something. It's a 2% back card. The other one is a Wells Fargo Business Secured Credit Card, and that's a 1.5% back. I use those to buy the gift cards, and then we check out on Home Depot with the gift cards. And so far, it's been working. We've been getting cash back, although technically you're not supposed to get cash back if you check out on Walmart or Home Depot using gift cards, but it has been working anyway. But if it stops working, then I'm just going to have my VA sign into my Home Depot account where those credit cards will be saved. And then they will use the cashback websites as well, like Giving Assistant. So we'll get about 2% back with the credit card and 2% back with Giving Assistant. Well, it depends on the month. It always changes how much you get with Giving Assistant. Okay. All right, Rodrigo says we have 132 watchers. So if I'm answering your question, if you're getting some value out of this, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Okay, so I put up an electronic device on eBay 30 days ago, but it's not selling. I thought people these days like tech. What am I doing wrong here? So you have to let the market tell you what you have to sell. And I find that electronic products are not actually selling that well on eBay for me. I list a whole bunch of different items, mostly home improvement items, home goods. For whatever reason, electronics are one of those items that people shop around a lot for. Give me 1 second. I forgot to plug in my charger. I feel like an amateur. So yeah, I find that electronics are the types of items that people shop around a lot for. So they're going to come to eBay, see whatever it is that you're selling that's an electronic, and they're going to look elsewhere as well to find the best price. That's just been my experience with electronics. For other items, that's not really the case, is what I found. Okay. I'm not sure what Joe's has a question, but Joe, maybe you can clarify your question when you say, how can I open up a second eBay account without linking them? Okay. So Joe, the way that your accounts are definitely linked up is if you use the same PayPal account, and if you call eBay and tell them, I opened a second account, can I link my first account to it so that I can increase the limit of my second account? Then your accounts will definitely be linked. If for some reason you don't want to link your accounts up, it is tricky. I'm not too familiar with it. It's something called stealth accounts. It's not something I've researched because I haven't had to do that. A lot of people use these stealth accounts if they've been banned on eBay in the past and they want to start up again. But it's something I've never toyed with myself, so it's something you're gonna have to do your own research on there. Okay, Adam says, I have 800 listing limit on eBay. Should I just max it out or pace my listings? So Adam, what I would suggest that you do is, first of all, the listings that you do, it shouldn't be about quantity, it should be about the quality of them. Yes, you should get out as many quality listings as you can, but really the emphasis has to be on the quality of them. Make sure that they're well researched, that you have good titles, that your pictures are right, all of those things that we talked about. And that I would say is more important. It also depends how new you are. I wouldn't try to scale too quickly. I've made that mistake in the past. But if you have 800, try to get as high as you can. But again, make sure that they are quality. So Matt had a follow-up question about the cashback, what I was talking about before, and gift cards, where I get my gift cards. So I only use the gift cards so I can give them to my VA, so I don't have to give them credit card information. So I just buy them directly from Home Depot's website themselves or from Walmart's website themselves. So it's a one-for-one. I'm not getting a discount on the gift cards at all. So you can buy them directly from the website. You also use a website called giftcardmall.com. And you can actually get cash back for shopping on giftcardmall.com. So that's another way to actually get even more cash back. Okay. Chewbacca in the house. What's the best way to identify and remove items that haven't sold for 60 days? So you can actually go into eBay. I'm going to show you guys this later in the week, actually. But you can go into eBay and sort them and to kind of get a good idea of which items aren't selling. It does require some manual work, but I'll make a video later this week that's going to be part of one of my five steps to boosting your sales after they slow down. I'll show you how to do that. So Charles says, any ideas on how to pick a good store name? Just pick one. Do not get stuck on this step. I see people do it, and it's a waste of time because just pick any name. I've always said that a name won't make your store, but it could break your store. So don't pick a terrible name, something like I drop ship from Amazon. That's a terrible name for a store, or there's a better deal somewhere else, or something like that. But you don't really have to worry too much. I've seen some really strange names that do really, really well. So don't worry about it too much. Okay. Hey, Paul, another question. Have you made a video about Walmart canceling orders? I don't recall one. If not, what is your strategy to deal with Walmart cancellations? So I haven't made a specific video about it, but I've definitely talked about it before. And what I always say is that what's always worked for me is using gift cards and using PayPal to check out. And that has always helped me avoid canceled orders from Walmart. So Brian says, I'm stuck at $1,200 to $1,400 profit a month since February. But now my sales have dropped. What should I do to increase profit? Brian, great question. And I'll be making a video about this later this week. Sherry's here. Welcome, Sherry. I keep losing some questions here. Hamza says, how do you do accounting for sales tax once you're tax exempt? How do you pay it? You give back for all the sales that you charge sales tax, or just a state where you're registered in? Okay, Hamza, a lot of steps here. So first, when it comes to sales tax and becoming tax exempt, the first thing you have to do is actually register with a state to collect sales tax, right? For me, that's New York. After that, you can then become tax exempt in most every state. But you are required to collect sales tax for the states that you're registered in. In my case, that's New York. So now I'm collecting sales tax from New York, but I'm tax exempt when I shop on websites like Walmart and Home Depot, right? So then what do I do with the tax that I collect? Remember, it's just for New York. So since I only have one state, when I go into PayPal and sort by a time period, because I have to pay out the sales tax every quarter, every 3 months. So I check out how much I've made in 3 months. It's also going to tell me how much I collected in sales tax for those 3 months. Then I know that money has to go to New York, that much. Now, if you're in multiple states, it gets a little bit more complicated, right? Because that number on PayPal that shows you how much you collected in sales tax is not only for the one state, but also for a second state as well, or a third or fourth. So in that case, I would recommend you use a service like TaxJar. TaxJar will automatically not only collect the sales tax and put it into different pots, one for New York, one for another state, but it'll also automatically send it to those states. Now, one thing you do want to keep in mind, Hamza, is that you should not be collecting sales tax for states that you're not registered in. That's not allowed. That's illegal. So don't do that. You can get fined for doing that. And then you can also not only will you have to send the money to them anyway, but you'll also get fined. So an additional amount. Okay, Andres is saying that some people, like for Mark, are saying that eBay knows if you're a drop shipper if you ship from a different location than you listed it under. Any thoughts? Well, to that I say that I doubt that is the primary way that they're determining this. There are so many easier ways for them to determine it. They could go into our accounts and see what third-party software we've approved. And if they see we're using DSM Tool or TrackerBot or SKUGrid, any of those, I mean, they're going to know we're a drop shipper, right? As for the shipping location, I do think it is something that we should consider because allegedly this is something that does affect our metrics on eBay, or rather our ranking. So it can't hurt, I don't think, to make sure that your item location is correct. So this is hard for some suppliers like Amazon, which has warehouses all over the United States and their items ship from all the warehouses. But for some suppliers like Home Depot, they tend to ship the same item from the same warehouse no matter where the customer lives. So once an item ships once, you can see the zip code it ships from and then enter that zip and edit your item and enter the correct zip code. I don't think it could hurt to do that. It will take time, but I don't think it hurts to do that. Do you know of a good company that will upload items automatically to monitor store in bulk quantities? So Dory, I use DSM Tool to upload my items from suppliers' websites to websites like eBay, and I'm really happy with it. Most people that I know that do bulk they were using HydroLister and SKUGrid, but now HydroLister and SKUGrid are breaking up. They're two different companies now, or maybe they were always two different companies. I always assumed they were the same company, but I think I was wrong about that. So they're two different companies. They're not going to work together anymore. So if you're using SKUGrid, they have their own lister now, which pretty much looks like HydroLister anyway. And that's the one that most bulk listers I know actually use. Okay. Aside from cashback, what other messages lower prices without affecting profit margins? So Andy, if you want to lower price without affecting profit margins, you really can't do that too much without using it. Once you've used cashback, you can always try to see if there's coupons for any websites. That is really another strategy that sometimes works, although it's not really scalable. Eric wants the video tomorrow about my 5 action steps for boosting sales after they slow down. I'm really hoping to get out Thursday night. I try to make this video every Tuesday night and another video every Thursday. I really want to make sure it's well done, so it might not get out till Friday, but it will be out this week. Okay. Jay says, you're a very good educator, Paul. Love the videos. Keep them coming. Thank you, Jay, so much. I really appreciate you saying that. And for everyone watching, if you like the video too, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Okay. So Paul, are you tax exempt on Amazon? Yes, I'm tax exempt when I buy items from Amazon. In all states, no, not in all states, in many of them. And I always forget the ones that I'm not tax exempt in. See, some states won't accept what's called an out-of-state resale certificate. So I'm only registered in New York, so they won't accept that in other states such as Florida and California. There's some other ones, I always forget them. And there's other states like Maine that don't accept what's called a blanket resale certificate. Don't want to get too complicated here, but that basically means that you can get tax exempt if you buy something and ship it to Maine, but every time you ship an item to Maine, you have to send in a new certificate to get tax exempt. It's not scalable, so it doesn't really work so well. Eric says, have you tried to list in another account without software? No. I used to list without software when I first started. It is such a pain. It takes a lot of work. Obviously, it worked for people for a long time, but once you use software, you never want to go back, right? Okay. when you pay your VAs, do you pay them exactly by the minute too, or do you round it up sometimes? Just curious, just hired first VA a week ago. So Jay, I have them work in hour blocks or half-hour blocks, right? So they know they can work 7 hours, 7.5 hours, 4 hours, and I pay them by the hour. So Dorit says, what is the name of the company that works with SKUGrid? So SKUGrid, they are working with themselves now. They used to work with HydroLister, but now SKUGrid is just working on their own. They have their own lister. Now, the lister that they include is called SKU Lister. It is free if you are on, I think, the Pro plan, which I'm not sure how much that is a month for listing. I think if you're paying $60 a month to use SKUGrid, then you get to use SKU Lister for free. Don't quote me on this because I only looked at it briefly. If you have a light plan with SKUGrid, then I think you have like a light lister. So I'm not really sure of the difference, but it is all integrated into one now, sort of. And they will let you use it for free as long as you use SKUGrid and actually pay for SKUGrid. Kind of curious what the drama was there. Obviously something happened between the two. I'm guessing, I don't want to guess because I have no idea. W&R is asking what the most search category for eBay is. I don't know what the most search category is on eBay. I'm sure you can easily find that information online or with a software like Zeek Analytics, I think will tell you that as well. And Carmen's back with the answers. Carmen always is here to help me when I can't remember something. Carmen says California, Connecticut, DC, Florida, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Maryland, Mississippi, and Tennessee. Those are the states that you can't really become tax exempt in unless you are registered in that state. So somebody's asking about how do I deal with returns. So returns on eBay, pretty easy actually, because you're never gonna see the item. You're gonna contact your supplier like Walmart or Home Depot or Amazon, say, hey, I don't want this item anymore, or it's broken. Send me a label, you get the label, we send the label to the customer, and this is all done through email or through Facebook, I keep saying Facebook, eBay Messenger, and now they have the label, they slap it on the box, they send it to your supplier, you never have to see it, never have to deal with it, you get refunded from the supplier, you refund the customer, and it's a wash. Al says you pay $59 for SKUGrid, and you get the lister for free. Thanks, Al. Mike says, why eBay and not Amazon? So I assume what Mike S is asking is why dropship onto eBay and why not dropship onto Amazon? Or why is eBay better than Amazon? They're different. And this is a great topic for a video, actually. So, but basically in a nutshell, eBay is just such a great place to get started. Amazon has really strict metrics. So if you dropship onto Amazon or sell on Amazon, if you mess up there, it's hard to get your account restored. It's hard to get unbanned. And they do tend to ban people more often on Amazon than on eBay. So with eBay, there's a little more give there, right? If you mess up, there's less of a chance that you're going to get banned. Your metrics are it's easy to recover from bad metrics on eBay. It's also easier to start a second account, where with Amazon, it's harder. So that's why I think eBay is really excellent. Great first place for people to get started with e-commerce, and then they can move to Amazon later and things like that. But I found that eBay is just so lucrative for me that I'm sticking with it, and there's no way I'm going to give that up. Okay. Is teaming up with a dropshipper? So Adam says, is teaming up with another dropshipper a good idea? So great question, Adam. And there's multiple ways that you can look at this. If you're talking about forming like a business partnership where you're both running the same store together, helping each other to grow up the store, that's really tricky, right? A business relationship like that is like a marriage. It has to be long-term. You have to really trust each other. Remember, this is somebody you're going to be splitting profits with. You don't want it to be like a high school science project, a group science project where one person is doing all the work and another person's not. So you really want to seriously think about this before you enter into that kind of business partnership with someone else. Now, if you're just forming like a mastermind with someone, that is an excellent idea, because now you have someone who's going to hold you accountable. You're going to hold that person accountable. You can race each other, say, how many listings do you do today? Well, I did that many plus 2 more. And, it's like a friendly competition. You can support each other. You say, hey, like, I don't know what's going on with this case. Can you help me out? And they can help you out. Whether you want to share your store's name with that other person, that's up to you. Again, that's all about trust. But I think, yeah, masterminds are an excellent idea. So what kind of shipping times do you put in your business policies for Home Depot and Walmart? So I do 3-day handling time, and I just do standard shipping times. Okay. Need a partner with a VA team already established. You can form one on your own. The great thing about virtual assistants and eBay dropshipping is that there are so many VAs out there who already know how to do eBay dropshipping. So what you want to do is find those VAs. They already know how to do it, and you don't have to train them as much. Obviously, you want to show them the nuances of how you want your business to be run. But after that, they have the foundation down already. So find those VAs, and it'll make it much easier for you. Okay, let's see. Do you have any secrets to focus through the more tedious parts of this, even computer glare? But seriously, thanks. Really appreciate your work. So this is a question from Quintez. Hope I'm saying your name right. So Quintez, I do have a course all about how to do eBay dropshipping. It tells you exactly how to set up your eBay store, how to run it, how to scale it, the exact methods that I've used to create a business now that's done over $1 million in sales. It's all there in the course. And that is, the third link in the description of my video. It's the third link in the description of the video. That's the course. You can check it out. Everything I know in there. But you did have a very specific question about computer glare. So this is pretty funny. I have these orange glasses. Maybe I'll show them in one of the videos. They look really ridiculous because I had to get extra big ones that fit over my regular glasses. They look like safety glasses, right? I put them over my glasses. They're orange, and so they kind of like block out the blue light. And that's actually helped my eyes a lot, especially at night. I'm looking at the screen at night and working, and it keeps me up. So if I put in these glasses, I find that I sleep better when I do it. I always forget about them, but when I do use them, they definitely help. And I bought those like on Amazon for like $10 or something. You can get much cooler ones, but mine look really bad. Carmen says there's also great support on the private Titans Facebook group. Yeah, thanks, Carmen, for that point. Yeah, anyone who joins the course also gets access to the private Dropshipping Titans Facebook group. A lot of people in there helping each other and supporting each other. That alone, a lot of my students have said is worth the course alone. So I would check out that if you're interested. Mike says, do you depend on all organic traffic with eBay? No, I have started to use promoted listings. And I will be talking about that later. You look for hot items to sell. How do you know if they're only selling because of low price? I guess you really don't know so much, but what you could do is you can check out, if other people are selling the item and how much they're selling it for, or if other people are listing the item and how much they are listing it for. If other people are selling it for a similar price, then it's not just a low price. Home Depot glasses. Yeah, basically bright orange glasses. So admin says, going back to shipping, what shipping companies do you choose? So I don't choose a shipping company. Home Depot, Walmart, Amazon, they're going to ship it out whatever company they want. So it's usually UPS, FedEx, on-track services like that. So Carmen, they're not quite Elton John glasses, not quite that stylish. It's more like safety glasses, I'll break them out one day. Joseph says, buying course next payday. Awesome, Joseph. Okay. Everything on the Bay. Thanks so much for saying this. It says the course has done wonders, even helped me with other opportunities. That sounds awesome. Thank you. Okay. King says, he's looking at the recent dip in sales and saying maybe eBay is trying to get us to move more towards promoted listings. I did it for a day or so, sales picked up, but then they slowed back down. That could be, they throttle back sales unless you do promoted listings. It's one theory, but I don't really know how sustainable that is for the entire, eBay site to do that to everyone. And Peter has a great recommendation. Peter says, I use something on my Mac called f.lux. It's an app and it filters, I guess it filters out like blue light maybe, and it helps reduce eye glare. So that's something I would like to check out as well. Everything on the Bay, it's Bill. Oh, Bill, I didn't know that was your name. So that's Bill South. Bill, I've made a video with Bill in the past. Bill's one of my students. Great video with him. After this video is over, if you guys are watching this later, I will put a card on the screen to that video because that was a great video with Bill. I think a lot of people have been asking to get Bill back on the channel. So I'd love, if you're around Bill, to get you back on to hear how things have been going for you. Okay. Mike's is a US citizen moving to Chiang Mai, Thailand in 2 months. Will you run into issues drop shipping? No, you shouldn't. Make sure to get a good VPN. The one I use is CyberGhost 5. I have friends who drop ship from Chiang Mai, actually. It's a great place for digital nomads. That's so cool. I love that. I was there in 2011. It's a really cool place, really great street food, great community over there. You're gonna love it. I don't know if you've ever been there before, Mike, but you're gonna love it. Nick's also a US citizen, has been drop shipping from overseas for a few years. So he says it's no problem at all. So Sea Monkeys has a great recommendation. Sea Monkey says if anyone wants to know about Paul's video that he's going to make 5 points later this week about how to boost your sales after sales slow down, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button, and then hit the like button if that doesn't work. That way you get notified as soon as the video goes up. And Bill is ready for another video. So that's gonna be awesome. We'll have to make that happen soon. Great, so I had, what else do I have here? Okay, so today is May 15th, which means that as of today, you are no longer allowed to create new listings, according to eBay, with 14-day return policy. After today, all of the returns have to be either you don't accept returns at all. I think that's only for certain categories, or you can do 30 days or 60 days. What I recommend is that you do 30-day returns, buyer pays. So in other words, what I mean by buyer pays is that the buyer will let you know that they're returning it because they don't want it anymore. That's buyer's remorse. In that situation, they're responsible to pay to ship it back. Now, 9 times out of 10, like 9.9 times out of 10, you're going to get a prepaid return label from your supplier anyway. So it's going to be a free return for you. The reason that I say that a buyer, you should choose buyer pays return is simply because I guess it's kind of like a protection. Like, what if the supplier all of a sudden says, this particular item you have to return in store. You can't ship it back. In that case, you want to put the onus there on the buyer and not you to pay to have the item shipped back wherever it has to go. So that's the only reason I do it. And also, it might deter people from actually going through the process of setting up a return themselves if they think they have to pay for it. I'm not sure what Eddie means by the authorizations from eBay. So Rodrigo says, have you had a chance to work on how to pay your VA on your course? Yeah, there's a video up about how to pay your VAs inside the course. And basically, the way that I'm doing it is with PayPal. So what I do is I pay them. The unfortunate thing is that PayPal used to be pretty much free to pay your VAs in the Philippines. And then they started charging $5 a transaction, which kind of stunk. But what I do now is I every 2 weeks, I send all the money that I owe all my VAs to one VA, and then she sends it to the other ones. It doesn't cost her anything to do it, doesn't cost them anything to do it, and it just costs me $10 a month, $5 twice a month, basically. So Mr. Righty says, can you make more money dropshipping on eBay than on a Shopify store? Yes, but you can also make more money dropshipping or on Shopify store than on eBay. It really depends on you, what you're comfortable with, what you're familiar with, and how much work you put in. Anything that you put the work into, if you know how the system works and it's a good fit for you, then you're going to be able to make money doing it. I know people who are doing really well on Shopify. I know people who are doing bad on Shopify. I know people who are doing really well on eBay. I know people who aren't doing well on eBay. So it really depends on you and how much work you're going to put in and which one you actually apply and put the work into. So Giving Assistant right now, whenever you purchase items from Home Depot using Giving Assistant, it's not going to show up on givingassistant.com, or last time I checked earlier today, it wasn't. But they say it's still being tracked and you will get it. It's just not showing up in their system for some reason. Okay. Ba asks a great question. Says, I've opened a new eBay account. Should I let eBay know that I'm a dropshipper or just pretend like I'm a flipper? So flipper is someone who flips items from a big box store and then sells them on eBay. So in the past, I always said that's not an issue. You should let them know that you're a drop shipper. Now I'd be a little bit more hesitant about it. Now I think you might want to try lying to them and saying that you just do retail arbitrage. You go to stores, find discounted goods, buy them, and then sell them on eBay. And Rodrigo makes a great point, and I should have said this, so thank you, Rodrigo, is that it is much easier to get started on eBay versus Shopify. Some people might disagree with me, but I've done both, and I thought eBay was much easier. You can get started in one day, in a couple of hours on eBay, if you know what you're doing. With Shopify, you have to set up the whole store yourself. You have to have a theme. You have to get all the pictures and upload them and make everything look pretty. You got to have a shopping cart set up, a system set up, email systems, banners, all this stuff set up. So yeah, great point, Rodrigo. The barrier to entry is much lower on eBay. It's much easier to just get started with it. They take care of the payment processing for you, eBay, all that. So definitely much easier on eBay. 7 eBay auth. So Eddie says, I have 7 eBay authorizations under third party in store preferences. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Eddie, do you mean that when you log in and look at your third party authorizations, you see some strange ones from eBay that say just eBay or something about item management or bulk management and you don't know what they are? Is that what you're asking about, Eddie? How do you do your research? Which software would you recommend? So I've made a video all about how I do my research, and it is the first link in the description of this video. It's a free webinar all about how I do my product research, and that is going to explain it all to you right there. If a buyer returns an item, and let's say it's a saw from Home Depot and it's severely used, how do you handle these situations? As long as Home Depot refunds me, I don't really care, to be honest. And that's really it. So Gurge, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, says, will you be my VA? I'm sorry, but I don't have any time to be a VA right now. So Nancy says, I can change the return time from 14 days to 30 days on DSM tool. Any ideas? Yes, I have an idea for you, Nancy. So first you have to change it on eBay. You have to change your business policy your default return business policy from 14-day to 30 days, and then that's going to update on DSM tool. Eddie says, yes, yes. So remember, I was just asking Eddie. Eddie had a question. He logs into his third-party authorizations on his site preferences, and it says there's all bunch of authorizations from eBay. He doesn't know what they are. I don't know what they are either, Eddie. I saw those myself. It was a little fishy because I saw a bunch from like April 17th, 16th, like right before my sales slowed down. So I kind of thought that maybe eBay had gone in and done something, and that's what slowed down my sales. So I unchecked all the boxes, so they're no longer authorized, whatever those were. It didn't make a difference in my sales, but I don't know what those were. And I called them and asked them, and they didn't know either. Okay. Tiago says, have I ever used eBay? What's my experience? Seems like they keep missing cash back for me. So I haven't used them. I've looked at them. I know other people that have used them. But they're just like any other cashback website. You got to make sure that you use them correctly. This is why I use Giving Assistant, because they've always been very consistent with the cash back for me, and that's really important to me. And they have good customer service. I didn't realize that's 8:56. We only have 4 minutes left, guys. So if you guys have any last minute questions, make sure to ask them, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. But if you guys are getting value out of this, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, like the video. And again, I do this every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss this, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell notification so that you get an alert as soon as I go live. But let's see if I can squeeze in like 1 or 2 more questions here. Okay. So Berenzi says, my course is very inexpensive. He sees other courses that are charging almost $1,000. What's up with that? So I try to make it a course that is really affordable for people. I know a lot of people start on eBay because they don't have a lot of money. They're looking for a way to start to learn money online. So as of right now, my thought is that I want to make a good quality course, but I want to make it accessible to as many people as I can, which is why it is at the price that it is. Okay. Okay. Oh, my dog's complaining. Says it's time to go out. Oh, shut up. Come here. Come here. No. Don't bark. What are you barking? You want to say hi to everyone? You want to say hi to everyone? Say hi. Okay. Oh, Tiago says, I pronounce his name correctly. Okay. Is there a letter you can send buyers to leave feedback? I need to increase my feedback. So you could just send them a message. You can create something automatic if you use something like TrackerBot or even DSM tool. There's ways to send automated messages after a certain point, like after the item is delivered, for instance. And you can say, if you're happy with this, if you're unhappy with this item, let me know before you leave feedback, and I promise to make things right. If you're happy with the feedback, I would really appreciate if you would leave a positive feedback at that point. If you're happy with the purchase, I'd be really happy if you leave positive feedback at this point. Dog abuse. Dog is a soft. Okay, yeah. Hi, Mr. Doggy. Yo quiero Taco Bell. What a cute dog. This is Lando. Hi, Lando. He is the hustle hound. Okay, so I think that's all the time I have today. So thanks everyone who's come out and watched the video and asked questions. Remember, guys, if you have questions you want me to answer in next week's video at 8 p.m. Eastern, live here, make sure to ask them in the comments of any of my videos and I'll answer them. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys next week for the next live chat, and I'll see you guys then.